Hello, Bumblebees. It's Teddy BB Bear here. Sorry about last week. I came down with a cold and could not speak without coughing, so I had to delay this episode by a week. But now back to our regular scheduled programming. Shadows, the horror movie heroes, by Clouds. My head in the clouds, not coming down. On AO3. Chapter 18. Izuku grabbed his notebook and sat down on the floor. Okay, so the whole controlling people thing is new, right? Yeah, Jiro said nervously. The first time it happened, I was trying to do something else. Then I realized that people were reacting to my heartbeat, so... So it's more heartbeat control than pure brainwashing. Shinso nodded. How does it work? Well, Jiro gave him a look. People react to my heartbeat. Izuku's eyes widened in excitement. With how the human nervous system works, that means you can make people nervous. Or calm, Jiro shrugged. That's about all I've tried so far. So, why do you always run as soon as you use your quirk? Hitoshi asked with a smirk. Because it only works as long as I'm plugged in, Jiro complained. As soon as my heartbeat's not influencing them anymore, they snap out of it. So, the first thing we need to do is figure out a way to prolong your influence, Izuku hummed. You mostly try to leave while your victim is calm, from what I've seen. Wait, from what you've seen? Jiro's eyes narrowed. Have you been watching me? Of course I've been watching you, Izuku frowned. I thought that was obvious by now. Anyway, you usually leave when the victim is calm, but have you tried making them nervous before you go? No, Jiro said dryly, because that usually leads to them attacking me. Izuku's not talking about just a little anxiety, Hitoshi sighed. He's talking about launching a full-blown panic attack, so that by the time you leave, your victim doesn't know which way is up. That, Jiro gulped, that seems a little intense. Well, yeah, Hitoshi shrugged, but nobody's ever fond of brainwashers, and we're practicing these techniques to use against villains. They aren't nice, so why should we be? Think about it, Izuku added. With your hearing, I'm sure you practice at least a little bit of stealth. You sneak up on your victim, get them to do what you need them to do, then leave them too disabled to chase you. Jiro hesitated for a long moment. I'm not using it on civilians. Of course not, Izuku smiled, pulling out a burner phone he'd picked up on the way there. You'll be using it on heroes. Denki was charging their burner phone when it buzzed. He frowned and opened the message. Mom, who's Nezu? Mom immediately jumped. Only the principal of UA. If he's the one texting us, then it must be really important. Denki shrugged and read aloud. Hello there. I hope the exercise is treating you well. I couldn't help but notice that your boy has plans to attend UA, and I thought you might like to know that there will be an interesting learning experience for him at 9 o'clock tonight in the old toy warehouse. Perhaps there might be an objective up for grabs there as well. You never know. Anyway, have a wonderful evening and good luck. He set down his phone. Is he even allowed to give hints like that? He's the principal, of course he is. Mom grabbed the phone and reread the text. Plus, he's got a reputation for manipulating things behind the scenes, so I'm not surprised. I guess he's taken a liking to you, kiddo. Really? Denki grinned. That's good, right? Very good. Mom smiled back. Well, what are we waiting for? We've got plans tonight. You're really just gonna let that kid keep impersonating you like that? Mike asked incredulously. Half the teachers were giving Nezu significant looks, but he was just smiling and watching it all unfold. Aizawa rolled his eyes. Yeah, right. Like the rat would really pass up on an opportunity for prime entertainment like this. Oh, come now. It's not purely for entertainment's sake, Nezu tutted. I simply don't believe in interfering with a valuable learning experience for our students. Translation, you want to see what happens next, Midnight grinned. So do I. It's not every day a couple of kiddos manage to trick a pro. Snipe sighed. These young'uns are a different breed. Yes, Nezu chirped happily. Yes, they are. Kyoko followed behind Midoriya and Shinso as they made their way through the warehouse. She knew it was just to set the mood, but the rows of broken down toys were definitely creepy. Midoriya glanced around and turned to her. Can you hear anyone else here? Kyoko shook her head. It's just us. So far, Hitoshi corrected. This place is going to be crawling with people pretty soon, so we better find a good hiding spot. Kyoko sidestepped a broken jack in the box and shivered. Why are we here again? Because it's the handoff point for the ransom objective, Izuku answered. A villain managed to kidnap the target during the initial rush, but we can ignore the victim. She's not the objective. The money is. So there's going to be a trade, Jiro asked, and we're going to swoop in and steal the money. Midoriya and Shinso exchanged a significant glance, and Midoriya hesitated before answering, Yes. Kyoka huffed. There's something else going on, isn't there? Midoriya smiled. Of course there is. Okay. Kyoka held in her frustration. So, what is it? That's for us to worry about, Shinso smirked. Don't worry, it's all part of the plan. Kyoka glared at them. You know, you two are really starting to get on my nerves. Why are you always so cryptic? That just means it's working, Midoriya answered, which didn't clear anything up at all. Now come on, we've got two different groups of villains, plus a group of civilians showing up. We gotta find a good place to watch. They climbed a rickety set of stairs, up to a landing, and Shinso picked the lock to what was probably supposed to be an office space, but was really just a medium-sized room with a desk. It had a medium-sized window that overlooked the rest of the warehouse. Midoriya frowned as he looked at the glass. Well, that's not gonna work. Yeah, no, can't snipe through that. Shinzo pulled out his gun. You might want to cover your ears. Kyoka hurried to cover her ears as he aimed at the glass. There was a loud bang, and Kyoka flinched as a paintball exploded against the glass, splattering red paint all over it, but not breaking it. The three of them stared at the window for a long moment before Shinso broke the silence. Well, that didn't work. You were trying to break the glass, right? Kyoka asked. Yep. Midoriya walked over to inspect the window. Well, made a few cracks at least. Kyoka covered her ears again as Midoriya took out a knife and rammed the butt end of it into the window where the bullet had hit. It took longer than she would have liked, but eventually the window shattered with a crash. Midoriya put away his knife and took out his hand. Good enough? Shinso nodded. Good enough. Denki and his mom arrived at the warehouse just before the time Nezu had given them. He wasn't sure what exactly was going to happen, but he did know that there was going to be an objective up for grabs. That meant, however, that there were probably going to be other villains. So, Sparky, Mom grinned. We're here. Where do you want to? She was cut off by a loud crash from inside the warehouse. Denki looked around, ready to fight whatever heroes or other villains might come at them, but nothing happened. Nobody came rushing at them or tried to attack them, probably because no one was there. Denki straightened up. That was weird, right? Mom nodded. Barry, come on. We should hide before everyone else arrives. Denki followed, but couldn't help but wonder if everyone else had arrived already. Izuku, Hitoshi, and Jiro ducked behind the wall under what was left of the window, panting as they listened to the pair of eclectic villains find a hiding spot. That, Izuku swallowed, was way too close. I don't know why it's such a big deal, Jiro said. Aren't we waiting for those other people to arrive? First of all, Izuku raised his finger, the timing's not right. Second of all, that lady is not the kind of person we want to fight head on. Jiro raised an eyebrow. Why not? Well, Izuku's been digging up whatever he can on everyone involved in the exercise. And that woman, Toshi whispered, is a pro hero in her daily life. Jiro paled, which Izuku thought was the appropriate reaction. The only reason he'd felt confident enough to even invite them was because there was going to be so much else going on, and it would give them a chance to take her out of the game as early as possible. Now, they potentially lost the element of surprise. Dang it, Izuku muttered, and pushed himself away from the wall. The meeting's happening any minute, Izuku, Hitoshi hissed. Where are you going? Izuku grabbed his phone. To call in reinforcements. And that wraps up Chapter 18 of Shadows, the horror movie Heroes, by Clouds, My Head in the Clouds, Not Coming Down, on AO3. Links below in the description. Thank you guys so much for listening, and be sure to check out the original story and give them a kudos. Also, there's links to Project Cyclone, and please feel free to check out our other projects. Stay safe, stay cozy, and a wonderful hibernation to you all. Bye-bye!